Okay students, in today's lecture we will learn about main points of Dalton's atomic theory, as the main topic today is Dalton's atomic theory, and we will also discuss what are subatomic particles. Okay students, as you know, the main subject of chemistry is matter, and you know matter is anything which occupies space and has mass. The composition of matter is always a mystery to scientists. Many philosophers and scientists worked for centuries to solve this mystery, but it was a Greek philosopher, Democritus, who actually suggested that all matter can be divided into tiny particles which cannot be further divided. Democritus was the first person who explained the composition of matter, that matter is composed of small particles, and that particles are so small that we cannot further divide them into smaller particles. He used the word atom for that smaller particles of matter. Now let's see from where has he taken the word atom. The word atom is taken from Greek word atomos, which means unbreakable. Means matter is composed of unbreakable particles, so they used the word atom from atomos, which means unbreakable. Although the word atom was used in 400 BC, but no further work was done until 19th century. It was John Dalton, an English school teacher, who after a series of experiments concluded that all matter is composed of tiny particles, and he presented his atomic theory, and his atomic theory is known as Dalton's atomic theory. He put forward this theory in 1808 under the title A New System of Chemical Philosophy. It was John Dalton. So today we are going to discuss the main points of John Dalton's atomic theory. So let's see what are the main points of Dalton's atomic theory. Okay students, these are the main postulates of Dalton's atomic theory. Main postulates or main points. The first one point is matter is composed of very small particles called atoms. As discussed before, Democritus and John Dalton both believed that matter is composed of smaller particles, and that particles were known as atoms. Atom is an indivisible particle. It means atom cannot be further divided into smaller particles. Atom can neither be created nor destroyed. During a chemical reaction, the atoms of a compound or element just get rearranged, that cannot be created or destroyed. For example, we have here HCl and NaOH. When these two compounds react together, they form NaCl plus H2O. You can see in H2O, both the hydrogens are from NaOH and HCl, while oxygen is from NaOH. In NaCl, Na is from NaOH and chlorine is from HCl. So you can see just atoms have been rearranged during this chemical reaction. None of the atoms of both the compounds are destroyed or created. Okay, so during a chemical reaction, atoms of elements or compounds can be rearranged. They can get rearranged, but they cannot be created or destroyed. According to Dalton's, atoms of particular elements are identical in size, shape, mass, and also in other properties. For example, here I have two elements, hydrogen element and oxygen element. Hydrogen element is composed of hydrogen atoms, and all the atoms of hydrogen element will be same in size, shape, mass, and other chemical properties. It's not possible that some of the atoms of hydrogen will be smaller in size while other atoms will be bigger in size. It's not possible. Okay, all the atoms of same element will be having same properties. They will be same in size, shape, and in their masses. If we compare the atoms of two different elements, then definitely they will be different from one another in their properties. Their masses will be different, their sizes will be different from one another. But if we are talking about atoms of same element, then that atoms of same element will be same in all aspects. I hope it's clear to all of you. Now let's move further. The next point of Dalton's atomic theory is atoms of different elements are different in their properties. As I explained earlier, if we compare the atoms of different elements, then their atoms of different elements will be different in all aspects, like in their properties. Their masses will be different, structure will be different, sizes will be different. Okay, so atoms of different elements will be different from one another. All chemical reactions are due to combination or separation of atoms. The chemical reaction means atoms of elements or compounds will combine together to form a new substance. Okay, during this reaction, either the atoms will be combined together to form a new substance, or the atoms will get separated to form new substances. For example, here I have hydrogen. When it combined with oxygen, it forms water, H2O. So it is a combination reaction in which atoms of two different elements combine to form a new substance. But if you look at the reaction in reverse direction, if you broke down the water molecule, it will be converted into oxygen and hydrogen gases. So in reverse direction, here the separation of atoms will take place. So chemical reaction will be due to combination of atoms or due to separation of atoms. The last point of Dalton's atomic theory is atoms combine with each other in simple whole number ratio. For example, here I have water, H2O. The ratio between hydrogen and oxygen in water is 2:1. It's not possible that frictions or parts of hydrogen will react with oxygen, like 0.5 of hydrogen will react with 0.9 or 1.5 of oxygen. It's not possible. Whenever atoms combine together to form a compound or to form a molecule, they will always combine in whole number ratio. These were the main points of Dalton's atomic theory. I hope it will be clear to all of you. But now the question is atom really indivisible? So the answer is no. Atom is not indivisible. In fact, atom can be divided into subatomic particles, and that subatomic particles are electrons, protons and neutrons. It was proved when different scientists work on structure of atom and they discovered electrons, protons and neutrons. So the concept that atom is indivisible was discarded, and it was proved that an atom can be divided into subatomic particles, electrons, protons and neutrons. So now let's see what is electron, what is proton and neutron. Electron was discovered by J.J. Thomson in 1869. Okay, it was discovered by J.J. Thomson. This person discovered electron. Electron is a negatively charged particle. The charge on electron is equals to 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Coulomb is the unit used to measure charge on a particle. Okay, the mass of electron is equals to 9.11 10 to the power minus 31 kg. You can see the mass of electron is very small. It is extremely small. It is so small that it do not contribute to the total mass of atom. When we are taking the total mass of atom, the mass of electron is negligible in that case. Okay, we neglect the mass of electron because it is too small. Okay, the second particle, proton, was discovered by Goldstein in 1886. Goldstein, he discovered proton. Proton is a positively charged particle, and the charge on proton is equals to 1.6 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and mass of proton is equals to 1.672614 10 to the power minus 27 kg. The third particle, neutron, was discovered by James Chadwick in 1886. He is James Chadwick. He discovered a neutron. Okay, neutron is a neutral particle. Neutral particle means it is having no charge. The charge on neutron is 0. while the mass of neutron is equals to 1.67492 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So neutron is slightly heavier than proton, and these are actually proton and neutron which contribute to the total mass of an atom. I hope it's clear to all of you. So now it's homework time. Your today's homework is you'll have to prove that 1 AMU, 1 atomic mass unit, is equal to 1.67 10 to the power minus 24 gram. I have explained it already in the classroom. Just go through that topic and prove that 1 atomic mass unit is always equal to 1.67 10 to the power minus 24 gram. Take good care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.